Hey everybody, it's Lisa, and I'm just coming to you. I'm going to try to make this real fast. They're working on my roof, so you're going to hear a lot of noises in the background and up above me. And I wanted to go outside, but my yard is kind of full of shingles right now, so it's going to have to be in here, and we'll have to do this right now. But what I've done today is I've kind of did a little bit of a research from talking to a couple people who are going to be doing a juice fast, and they wanted to know what's going to happen after the fast is over. How do I know that a food is going to agree with me or not? So I'm going to use my example. I did a 15-day juice only fast. I had juice water and hibiscus tea, mint tea. I think that was about it. And a wheat berry tea, which was really kind of interesting. But here's some things that you need to do. When you come off of your fast, you're going to have to separate your foods. You're going to have to know what you're eating. For me, I wanted to know if eggs were going to be okay. I love eggs. So what you have to do, and I got this from Dr. Amy Myers as well, is you have to take those eggs and you have to eat them 3 times a day for 3 days. Now, if you really like something, it's not a problem to eat something that much. And so I did that with eggs, and I didn't have any problem. And some of the problems that I was looking for was, like irritable bowel, burping. Burping is not a good sign. If you're burping a lot, it means that your stomach has a lot of gases in it and trying to release those gases. You don't want all of that in your stomach. Occasionally, everything, moderation is good. But if you're constantly burping and belching and releasing the gas out of your stomach, it's not a good thing. There's some issues there that you might want to look into, whether it's leaky gut, whether it's your body reacting to something that you ate. Maybe you're eating too much. Maybe you're eating too fast. There's all kinds of things. But when your body reacts, you have to listen to it. And so with that, 3 days, 3 times, and eggs were good with me. About a month later, I wanted popcorn. I wanted to introduce popcorn because I love to snack on popcorn. And I don't mean microwave popcorn, and I definitely don't mean movie theater popcorn. Okay, that stuff is garbage. And so I buy a popcorn that's already pre-bagged, and it's cooked in coconut oil and has Himalayan salt. And I was so excited. And I opened the bag, and I probably had about 2 big handfuls. And immediately, my body just, I know when things don't agree with me. And I got like a little tinge by my liver, and my arm was like a little bit achy. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put popcorn down for a while. And so I did, and I picked it up about maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, tried again. The results were better, but I still wasn't comfortable eating it. So for me, popcorn's off the map. I'd probably die if eggs were off the map, but I won't eat them. I'm not going to eat something that's going to harm me. And that's something we need to get through our heads is there are so many, if you're gluten-free and you want to be gluten-free, which is not, I guess you have to read the book, Eat Wheat, but it's kind of, you don't need to be 100%, gluten-free. There are things that you can eat, but you have to understand and you have to know the way that wheat is created and made. And white bread, that's garbage. Anything white bread, white flour, white sugar, garbage. Don't do it. But we can't hold on to our lust of food so much that we're damaging ourselves. I want to live a long, healthy life. I promised my grandson 30 more years, so I need to get on that. So it's kind of like you have to give it up. You know what I'm saying? Sugar. Sugar is one of the biggest things that especially Americans are addicted to. We are constantly shoving things in our mouths. Let's go beyond candy, the chocolates, the candy bars. How about our teas? How about that crazy unicorn frappuccino drink that Starbucks just came out with? That is insane. I think it's something like 27 grams of sugar in 16 ounces? Are you crazy? Why are you drinking it, and why are you allowing your children to drink that? Here, honey, have some poison because it's fun. It's not fun. And what it's doing to their bodies is horrible, and I'm sorry, I hate to get excited, but it really just makes me mad. You know, it just makes me angry that people feed their children all this garbage, and then their children inherit body problems. They become fat, they become lazy. Diabetes is a big problem. I think 1 in 3 people by the year 2030 are going to have a weight problem and a diabetic problem. That is insane. We need to start doing something about it. And if we as adults are not responsible, then it's just going to pass on to the next generation. And to give you a hint too, if you follow Food Babe, she has an alternative for the unicorn drink, something that's healthy. And just a little bit of a side note too, the first unicorn or mermaid bread and all that stuff that came out was all colored with plant-based colors. Like the red was beet, and you used the blue algae for the blue. It wasn't the crap that's being put into it now. So there are alternatives. We don't live in such a society now that we don't have alternatives. I mean, think about the people who had to be gluten-free 10 years ago, and what did they do? Because there wasn't all the products. Think about me, I don't eat pork. What did I do back then? I mean, I didn't have pepperoni, and I didn't have turkey bacon or turkey pepperoni. I didn't have those alternatives. I just didn't eat it. So with that, back on track, you have to be careful of your symptoms. You have to start to know your body. Brain fog, that'll happen sometimes, or you'll become maybe nervous. Anxiety will set in. Joint pain, fatigue, gas, bloating, irritable bowel is a big indication that you've eaten something that just isn't agreeing with you. Migraines, acne, a rash, eczema. Your autoimmune system is so sensitive, and when you're taking something and your autoimmune is whacked out, the reason why is because it's an allergic reaction. Your body's working hard to fight. Your thyroid, the same thing. It's working hard to keep you balanced, but yet you keep putting stuff in your mouth and into your belly that isn't agreeing with you. And that's why the juice fast is so important. And again, I'm going to tell you, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nutritionalist, but I'm somebody who did it. And I'm also somebody who experienced the greatness of the other end of the 15-day juice fast. And I'm not telling you to do 15 days. I did 15 days. Jorge did like 90, I think, which I think is crazy. But if you do 3, I say 5, because 3, I used to fast 3 days every month, all the time. And it was more for a religious reason, but I wasn't even completely fasted of food by the end of that 3 days. I pretty much felt like it, but I wasn't. So I would just say the first thing you got to do is you've got to empty out your gut, empty out your bowel, get rid of all the toxins that you have in you, and then start to reintroduce food into your body and start paying attention to the symptoms that you have, after you do it. And you're going to find things that, don't agree with you. And then at times you may not even know. I mean, eggs may bother me. They don't. But maybe, let me try to think of something I don't eat a lot. Let's use corn. If I wasn't paying attention to just that little bit of ache or whatever, I could still be eating corn and still be okay, but it not be okay for me. We have to worry about leaky gut too. And if we're not, if we're allergic to something, or if our body is rejecting it, it could be doing something in our gut, causing leaky gut, and then that food is leaking out into our body, and then our cells are going insane because they're like, what is that? What is that? We got to attack it. And that's where the fatigue comes in, and the joint pain, and the migraines, and the brain fog, because your body is so busy working off all the garbage that you're putting in that you don't have enough energy left to do anything else, okay? And so I really, this just all started from talking to a couple people that are considering doing the fasting. And one thing I wanted to say about the fast too is I didn't jump right into it. I researched it, and I looked about like what I do, and I made a few mistakes. I remember making a enzyme drink out of papaya, mango, and I think orange juice. And I was talking to Jorge about it, and he was like, "No, no, no." He goes, "You don't want to do that." And he says, "You don't want to get any of the sugars in there, you know." And that's another thing. Fruit is not bad for you, folks. It isn't. But eating fruit while you're doing a cleanse doesn't allow your body to rest, because the sugars that are the natural sugars that are in the fruits causes your pancreas to shoot out insulin so it can balance you out, and you're not resting. Your body and your organs are not resting while it's balancing you out. So that's why you don't do fruits during a green juice fast. You want your body to rest. You want it to cleanse. You want to pull the toxins out and flush them out of you. All right? So this is what you want to do after you do your juice fast. Because everybody, I wanted to know too. I was like, what do I do? What do I do? Oh yeah, and I think I probably was a good month into thinking like, okay, how am I going to do this? What kind of jars do I need? I work 12-hour days. How am I going to do this at work? So I started my fast on a long weekend where I had 3 days off and got through the rough 3 days while I wasn't at work. And then the rest of the 12 days, I just didn't eat. I drank a lot of tea. I did a lot of water. And you know what? It wasn't, I mean, I look back, you'll have to follow my videos. I don't remember struggling a whole lot. I remember having rough moments. You know, where I work, sometimes people bring in food. And, you know, at that time, I was used to eating cookies and donuts and M&Ms and chocolate covered anything. And when it would come in, I'd be like, oh my God, you know, and my mouth would just, you know, like, oh, I want that. Now, I can handle a donut and not even want to eat it. I don't have that desire in me anymore. I eat a organic sugar-free chocolate, which I love because dark chocolate is good for you. Cocoa is very good for you. And it's all just in how you take it. I don't eat an entire bar at a sitting either, and that's good. So, and one more thing I wanted to tell you, because I often talk about Jorge, and somebody said, you know what, I don't tell you where to find him. And I kind of like our balance. Jorge is very, he's going to get down into the science of why you want to do what you do. He actually brewed beer prior to, you know, his whole like thyroid issue. And he has a lot of knowledge about fermentation and fermenting foods. And he really gets into the science of why your body does what it does and why your body might need this or might need that. And so hypothyroidism success story, and you want to follow him as well. Please follow me and please tell people about me as well. I'm going to give you the more practical day-to-day. This is how I did it. This is how I survived. This is how I'm doing. I think I'm going into like month 4. And let's see, the other night I was at my daughter's and she had some surgery. And so I was staying with her and I stopped off at a local meat market, not the one I went to, not the good one. And I love filet. And so I bought some fillets and I cooked them. And like I said, I'm not a vegan and I won't be a vegan, but I'm conscious about what I eat. And so I made my filet and I ate it, and no, it didn't agree with me. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to try one more time because I actually bought 4 of them, but they were for the family. And I tried again and I had like half of it and the same thing happened. And I thought, you know what? I don't know what I'm eating. And this is a local market that specializes in meat, but it's they're not grass-fed. And if you ask them, they can't tell you if it's grass-fed or not. So wherever they're getting their meat from, they don't even know. And it could be from that ugly, gross, mutant cow. If I get a chance, I will link you to that because it's so important. Wait till you see this thing. It's gross. I would never, I mean, every time I look at meat now, I think of this ugly cow and how they're trying to make it, you know, so that they have the kind of meat that we want, you know, or they're producing more from one cow, kind of like they do with the chickens, you know, with the breast of the chicken. And the chicken is so heavy breasted, it falls over, and it got these tiny little itty bitty legs and, you know, nothing else because, you know, we all like white meat and they want to get more from their chicken. And so you've got these enormous, you know, like these chicken breasts, they're like this size. But if you go to an organic store and you look at chicken breasts, you know, they're like little, you know, they're not like huge, you know, like the ones you're seeing at the store. So just, I'm asking you, be be cautious what you're eating. You know what? It takes time. You're not going to switch over everything in your household. Actually, right now, I'm switching over all of my shampoos and my body care. I found a great company out of Canada, Rocky Mountain, that has some really amazing products. So I just ordered them, and I'm going to be trying out some products with them. And I'm going to name drop with you guys. I'm going to let you know what I'm doing. You guys got to do the research, and you got to figure out if it's what you want to do. But I'm not like, okay, I'm getting rid of everything in my house and I'm starting over. You know, like my dish soap is still, I don't know what it is, but the next one I buy is going to be seventh generation or method, or Target has a new product out that has apple cider vinegar in it. So I want to check that out. I want to try it. So baby steps, but just keep moving in the right direction. That's what you want to do. And as long as you're moving in the right direction, you're going to get there. Even if you don't do a fast and you stop eating, start eating organic fruits and vegetables, you're doing your body a whole lot better. I'm in a lot of contact with people who are on medicines, from doctors, and they're kind of stuck in that doctor routine. I love doctors. I believe that they have a purpose, but I don't believe that they're trained holistically to care for us anymore. And think about it. How do they make their money when we're sick? If we're not sick, we're not going to go to them. They're not going to make their money. They're not going to make their malpractice insurance payments. I mean, come on. And like I said, I think doctors, I go to a doctor every year. I go to several of them actually every year. I want their input. I want their advice. I don't want their meds. I don't. If it comes to a point in my life where I absolutely have to, I will, to sustain my life, to take care of something that's going on in me. And that reminds me, in another video, I got to talk to you about your DNA. I'm reading Tim Ferriss's book, Tools of Titans. Great book. Tons of information. I'm serious you're going to want to have a notebook and pen as soon as you open it. There's a lot in there. I did my DNA for Ancestry, and I just recently learned that in my DNA is also my genetics as far as, different genes and things that I possess and don't possess. And I didn't think I wanted to know, like what gene I might have, but, so far I'm I'm dabbling into it, just a little bit, baby steps, a little bit at a time. And I'm actually encouraged by what I'm reading. And just because you have a gene that's destined for whatever, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, whatever, doesn't mean you're going to have it. Doesn't mean you have to have it. And just because you're diagnosed with autoimmune or thyroid or rheumatoid arthritis, it doesn't mean you have to live that way the rest of your life. Number one, you might outgrow it. I mean, your body's changing all the time. Number two, you start to do better with your eating and challenging yourself and doing things and listening to your body. Eventually, you could come to the point where your body is rejecting the medicines or the fact that you don't need such a high dose of it. I hear it from diabetics all the time. All I did was change my diet. High blood pressure meds. All I did was change my diet, and the doctor cut my prescription in half. Come on, that says a lot. So don't get stuck in the rut. Don't think that just because, and I'm not telling you, absolutely do not stop taking your meds until you talk to a doctor, but start changing your diet, because absolutely nothing bad can happen from changing your diet and eating healthy. Only good. So let's concentrate on a few things. If I touched on something in here, I'm glad. If I'm helping you, I'm encouraged. I'm encouraged by the people who are contacting me and telling me that they're encouraged by what I've been going through. I'm not making any money off of this. I'm not even trying to. But I know what I felt after 15 days. I know how I feel after 4 months. And actually right now I'm kind of thinking about I might do a 3 or 5 day fast. Just because we're not going to avoid toxins no matter how good we eat. If I enclose myself in a bubble, I'm still going to have probably toxins from the bubble. So we have to constantly be cleansing ourselves and taking care of ourselves, because nobody else is going to do it for us. The world, consumers, or the You know, the big companies, they're out to make money. They don't care what happens to me and what my doctor, says because I've eaten, whatever, 2 tons of chocolate and candy, and now I've got diabetes and I might have cancer or whatever. They don't care. They care that I bought their product. When they start paying attention is when I'm going to stop buying their product. And when other people stop buying their product, well, they still want my money. And that's what you're going to see. You see a lot of these companies, Jif, I'm trying to think some of the other ones, and they make me angry, and I will not buy an organic product from a company who sells a conventional product, because to me, they just did it to make money. I don't even trust that they have the best ingredients. And I see it all the time. Jif peanut butter, Jif organic peanut butter. Nah, sorry, not buying it. And okay, my rant is over. I'm sorry. I've just had so much that I wanted to say to you. And remember, follow Jorge. He's like the balance to me. I'm going to give you practical, and he's going to give you scientific, hardcore, he's always like researching and really into it. And if you're thyroid or autoimmune, autoimmune covers so many things. And you're going to find out most people with autoimmune have arthritis problems. Gout is another issue with people who aren't eating healthy. So I'm just encouraging you. That's what I'm doing. And that's about it. So I'm going to get this video up for you guys. And think about me. I got the long weekend. Have a great day. Bye. Pray they get my roof done. It's so noisy. Bye.